I went outside. It got too sad to be indoors. And it's the f***ing middle of May, so why the f*** would I not be outside? By an abandoned elementary school for blind kids. It's got a bunch of black mold in it, don't ask me how I know that. Here in Norway, we have a time-honored tradition of celebrating our high school graduation with what's known as Russeservice. This essentially month-long frat party is signified by getting a jumpsuit showing what high school program you've taken, handing out personalized business cards with little jokes on them to every child that asks, completing challenges known as knots, which you tie things on your hat for, which can range from slightly bothering a stranger on the clock by going through a drive-thru in a shopping cart, to things that would get you imprisoned if you weren't wearing this jumpsuit, like hiding in your teacher's backyard and sleeping there, and in some cases, trying to cook them breakfast without them knowing you're there. Or should it just getting dangerously shit-faced? Just recently, I actually did a very fun one where you crawl from our parliament building all the way to our castle, and by fun, I obviously mean so painful it took us 50 minutes and it's a 700-meter crawl. In addition, those with trillions of dollars laying around their mansions or in their daddy's trust funds might group up and... Is that a bird? There's a bird. I get very easily distracted. The bird moved, so I'm worried there's a person here now and I'll have to leave. Because I'm not really supposed to be here. Okay, I think it just might have been... I think it might have just been another bird. In addition, those with quintillions of dollars laying around their mansions or in their daddy's trust funds might group up to make stickers, logos, merch, and music, and purchase buses they then customize and drive around at night, blasting said music. In my humble opinion, it can range from borderline ass to pretty mid, but then again, I'm one of those people who actually find a complete and utter destruction of the senses to be quite a banger, so, you know, some would tell you not to trust my taste. As you may have seen so far, most of these people are wearing red, as am I. This is the iconic Rus, signifying the completion of a regular high school program preparing you for higher education. It's also the most popular one. There are 5 of these programs, 6 if you want to get technical, because one of them splits into 2 at the second year, each with their own sub-program? What? Sub-program. What? 5 of these each with their own sub-program? What do you mean? No? Each with their own specialization. The blue variant, which is the second most popular, represents the more sociology and business-focused program. Black has generally been the color for trade schools, except for the farm work program, which is green. Some would also call the electrician trade school yellow. I've never seen anyone ever wear yellow. Now, as you may also not have noticed, I have a little bit of purple on me, and if I remember to show my card, you may see that it is also purple. This is because I am an art student. The art program is a program that is supposed to prepare you for higher education, so I am technically also red, but much like sociology, art students have their own color. Now, why don't you see more people in purple? Why isn't my entire class walking around like the man behind the slaughter? Well, that answer is pretty simple, and it is also my entire point for this video, which I'm finally getting to. And that is a little company known as Russeservice. This is the company behind pretty much every single piece of Russ merchandise that you will see during this month. From the suits themselves to the cards, the group merch, they have become synonymous with this celebration. And they have decided that they won't be selling these suits in purple. Now, why has this company decided to just not sell the purple suits? Well, probably because there weren't that many art students back then. Why would you sell a suit if like 6 kids are gonna buy them? You know, we're not 6 kids, we are sick kids, but it was not a very popular program to take. And even back then, I don't think many people used the purple, because it was just less iconic than the red and blue. It was still a pretty new program at the time, and it was kind of hard to establish an entirely new color in this tradition. And so, with Russeservice becoming the company that sells all of this stuff, and them not selling the purple suits, it just kind of fades out, because not many people know about it anymore. It's a very niche fun fact, not really something that's part of this culture anymore. You're red or blue, and sometimes black. Except those people get f***ing jumped, apparently. I did not know about this until this year. Apparently, red and blue Russ f***ing hate trade schools. It's insane. I don't understand where the hate comes from. I don't understand when it came. It's f***ing baffling to me. I've never heard of this before this year. There are so many people that have gone to a trade school but have chosen to be red because they're scared of getting beat up at night. It's insane. I'm going on a tangent. Back to what I was talking about. Now, who is making this decision, you might be asking? Is it a board of actual high school graduates who know what the current culture is like? Is it a group of parents? Is it somebody that has any connection to this tradition in the slightest? No. It is owned entirely by one guy. His name is Ole Jørgen Smedsrud, and every year he rakes in millions by owning the company that sells a tradition to 19-year-olds. Here's where he lives, by the way, for no particular reason. Back in 2019, he bought the house to the right, next to where he actually lives, for 19 million. Just in case you needed proof this guy was rich, you know? In the 1980s, he started the company Russeservice after being Russ himself, and slowly built up an empire and became the de facto place to go for anything Russ. Now, that wouldn't really be a problem if that were the whole story. His company just made a good and accessible product and succeeded because of it. Even a piece of anti-capitalist scum like myself can recognize a fair player even if I hate the game. Only problem is, he's not a fair player. Like, at all. In recent years, stories of secret contract. No, I can't fucking do that. No. I'm gonna try to look chill and relax, but it's so uncomfortable to hold my head up like that. In recent years, stories of secret contracts sent to students in their first year of high school have started to come out. These contracts came from representatives of russ.no, which is an app owned by Russeservice. A fuller breakdown of these contracts is on a Norwegian media outlet called VG, and this is where I'm getting all the information about these contracts from. I'll try to find a way to make the article available to read in the description somehow, since it's behind a member wall and in Norwegian, but I'll do a quick run through the article here to give you the gist of what they were talking about. These contracts involved students essentially becoming ambassadors for russ.no, getting paid between 50 to 100 kroners, which is about $5 to $10, per student that they got to sign up. In addition, they would also get some discounts on their services like custom stickers and graphic designers. There's also some vague shit in there about possibilities for shoutouts and winning contests, which to me just sounds like fluff and empty promises to make the contract seem more in favor of the students. Now, in return for these incredible and life-changing perks, the 16-year-old high school students are agreeing to strict confidentiality about the contracts, not purchasing from any competitors, essentially peer pressuring their classmates into signing up if they don't want to or are unsure, and they even posit that it is legally binding, and quoting one of the people reaching out to the students, "You don't need to be 18 to sign," which is not how contracts work. They often reach out on Facebook, DMing students and making groups that many confuse for official school groups, and that might as well be complete class lists according to school faculty. So, in case you haven't noticed, These contracts aren't exactly fair on paper or in practice, and at this point, Russeservice is starting to look more like an aggressive pyramid scheme than a service. Now, hearing all this information, you may very well be thinking, oh shit, I want to buy my stuff from somewhere else then. Okay, like, where? Russeservice, maybe? They're a pretty successful company also selling this stuff. Sorry! They're owned by Russeservice. They were bought back in 2014 when I guess they got a little bit too successful, so old Ole decided to Agario consume it. In fact, if you buy from Russeservice, you're giving him even more money because their clothes are more expensive. University, the company 99% of group merch is produced through, is also owned by Russeservice. And sure, you could buy from one of the few alternatives that pop up every now and then, but they just aren't sustainable. They disappear after a year or two, and no one ever hears about them afterwards. Case in point, if you're Norwegian, go down in the comments and name me one single competitor to Russeservice. Off the top of your head, don't look anything up. Is the battery dead? Oh, you bitch. Okay, bing bang boom. Let's hope this camera angle's good. Okay, I'm in my room now. My camera's charged, and it has been 3 weeks. As I was saying though, there are no competitors to Russeservice. Either they gain enough influence to be bought up, or they're buried from the relentless peer pressure and established dominance that Russeservice has on this market. Okay, so what the f*** are we supposed to do then? I mean, I'm wearing a Russeservice. I have cards. How did I get that? Well, it's pretty simple. Well, okay, that's kind of a lie. I got this off of a different used market, but my point is, you gotta buy secondhand. If you want to keep it simple, you could just find someone's used Russeservice. You can also find a more alternative option, like I did. When I bought this, it was a light blue, and it didn't fit me entirely right, but I bleached it, I dyed it red, I flared out my pants, and I sewed in the sides. And now, it works great. I've been wearing this straight for 3.5 weeks now, and I'm loving it. Now, I'm obviously lucky to have the means necessary to sew and DIY some of this stuff. Not everybody has access to a sewing machine, and that's understandable, but do not let that stop you. I've seen a guy in just straight up a red suit. A blackest I know is just using a black jean jacket and pants, and if you really want to go on a budget, you just gotta buy a second-hand hat and walk around in that. That's enough to be recognized. As for my card, I designed it myself on my laptop in Photoshop. And obviously I got both my laptop and my Photoshop license from my school, but again, do not let that stop you. I was a Paint.net warrior on the biggest shitter of a computer for several years. You can make whatever you want in whatever program you have access to. That is what makes your art valuable. I ordered them from a company called Vistaprint that just, like, sell customized business cards. Cost me 400 kroners, or about $40 for 500 cards, not including shipping. Now, I was a dumbass and I only ordered 500, and you definitely need more than 500 cards. So I ordered an extra 250 afterwards, and that kinda stung, because that was another, what, 350 kroners plus shipping down the drain that I didn't have to spend if I had just prepared a little bit first. But that's on me. Considering the prices at Russeservice, with the exception of that f***ass start package where you get the whole outfit for like 1,000 kroners or whatever, because they're a monopoly and can afford to have those deals if it means people don't give money to their competitors, the 350 kroners I spent on my suit, 300 kroners for the dye, 100 kroners for extra purple fabric, and 150 kroners for my hat, that is a really good deal. To close out, Russeservice is a tyrannical monopoly and a scourge on this wonderful tradition of teenagers getting drunk and disturbing the peace. And with their logo being on the back of virtually every card given out to kids and their contracts and high schooler students' Facebook DMs, they're probably not going away anytime soon. But if you're up for Russetid, I urge you to buy secondhand, make yourself, and most of all, Ck Russeservice.